Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I spoke to Dean this morning. He came round and had a look, and we've had a discussion. He's going to order a head gasket set and all the gaskets, some new studs, some nuts, a new temp sender, gaskets for the water pump, I think. We looked at all the parts and we've decided on the next step of action. So what I've done, I've just set up another table over here, and I'm going to start to clean the cylinder head surface. And then what I'll do, I'll take the valves out, clean them, inspect them, hopefully just put them back, you know, where they came from, and hopefully retain the same shimming as they have now. You have to be a little bit careful because the valves do come down below the surface, so you have to be careful not to stand it on a flat surface. Having the exhaust manifold on stops it from doing that anyway. So anyway, here's the head assembly. I'm not going to go mad. I've just got a little brass steel, I guess. I don't think it is brass. It might be brass, I'm not sure. Wire brush, and I'm just going to give it a gentle little rub over. I might as well just show a bit of that and speed it up, eh? So there's the before. I mean, a lot of these have had a bit of a wipe over already, so they're not exactly as found. This was the one that was full of water, and this is the one that had the damage. And you can see a little bit of damage here, tiny bit of damage there. In fact, you can see the shape of that crushed washer there. Okay, right, scrapey, wire brush time. Okay, there's dowels, that's why they're a bit tight. The one at the front isn't numbered, but it's got raised bits there. There's a very small little nick there. I don't know if that's by design or somebody's put that in. There's a little nick there, which means that's the inside. Obviously, by recording this, I've got all that, I've got a note of that, haven't I? tiny bit of rust on that one there, but it'll soon wear off. I'll give that a little bit of go with a bit of wire wool. Okay. Apparently, one of the cams has got a ring around there, like a groove that says which size it goes on. Okay, let's get this put away. There's the shim there. They call it a pallet in the book. So I'll save this as number 1. I'll just lay them out over there on that temporary table in order. Number 1 and so on. I spoke with Dean and he said this is just a repair and reassemble rather than a restoration. Not very efficient, is it? Taking one at a time and putting them over there, but at least I'm going to get them in order. I'm interested to see what those valves are like from the cylinder that had the water in it, in case we need to order valves. I just remembered a trick for getting these out. This is the number 1 thing. You can just use that like that to sort of ring it on, and then, or maybe not. That brings it out. That's number 5. Just do it quick. Sounds like they're doing some tree work and using a shredder. Right, I've got 2 or 3 valve spring compressors, so let's see which one fits the best. I think up that way is going to be the best. See, that one's open. Okay, so that one's open. That's the number 4. That's the one that had the water in. So that one is open. The dog's been chewing this one. Yep. Okay. I found an old blunt hole saw, ground away the one side, and I bolted it actually into that thing, which is easier than fiddling around with it loose. It goes in here. This is an old picker vant one, nice old tool, Apco way picker vant, and I've just took out the first valve there. That one's just come out. That actually goes that way around, doesn't it? And there's the valve with some gunge on that side. So that can be cleaned up on the wire wheel, and hopefully it'll clean up. We'll see how it looks. Probably need a grind. I haven't got the light on the camera, but anyway, you get the idea. I'll whiz down the line and get the rest of them out. not too bad, a little bit fiddly. Whoops. Now this valve, I believe, is stuck. So I might need to tap that one out. If I can, I'll give it a go. Yeah, it's moving. I don't want to hit on that end because you can bend them, can't you? I might as well just keep going. Okay, just checking that this 5/16 punch goes down through the valve guide. It goes through the one next door anyway. And there was a little bit of a burr on the end, so I've just ground it. Put a little bit of a chamfer on the end. I'm not using a big hammer. Once you get rid of that there, that'll be alright. Okay, try the next one. Okay, you've got the idea. I'm going to go and lock that a bit tighter. Lock that a bit tighter because I'm struggling a bit. But it kind of works, and I've only got these to do, and plus the others. So I'll stop recording there, and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Okay, they're all out. I'll leave the guides in place, not the guides, you know, the seals, because I don't think we're changing anything unless there's something damaged. Okay, so there's the last one on that side. That's number one. I'll do a bit of scrapey on this face here, then I'll give it a good wash. Let's have a look at that's the valve that was stuck. Not surprised really. Bad, isn't it? Okay, righto. And I think it's due to this here, this water seeping into there. Okay. Back in a bit. This is the inlet valve that had the sort of coolant build up in it. I'll go and give it a go on the wire wheel. I've just done the exhaust, and the exhaust came up quite well. There's the inlet valve after cleaning it. Looks pretty good, to be honest. And there's the exhaust valve. so they can go back on the table. I went round these again with the wire wheel, just a wire wheel in an electric drill, nothing too drastic. That one's still got some mess in it there, that's the one that had the coolant coming into it, but I've cleaned round in here with the wire wheel, and this had coolant that's gone out and into the exhaust. I'll get some sort of a wire wheel and go down there as well, clean some of that out. I'll just give them all a little lick. Fair bit of corrosion, isn't there? I'll leave it at that, and I'll clean the valves up, clean everything up, and possibly just give these the lightest little lap. Just give them the lightest little lap and put them back together, and hope that they're within tolerance with the shims, because I don't really want to do a load of re-shimming. But if I can get that clean, clean the block faces, which don't look too bad to be honest, but they'll take a clean, and these need just digging out a bit, just going with a drill, let the drill kind of bring it all out, and I think, you know, we'd be in a position to be putting the heads back on. Oh, I think we're going to take this off and just check it all out and clean it all up, you know, put it back, grease the bolts and put it back. I hope that it comes off okay. Hello, I just spent the last hour or so messing about with things like this. I've got all the studs out of here. They were all a little bit compromised. I'd had metric nuts put up them, and there should be UNF. So I tried to clean them up back to UNF, but it looked a bit compromised, so I've taken them out. Luckily they came out. So these are all tapped UNF, so these need new studs in here. On this one, these studs were still UNF, so I've just cleaned up the UNF threads, they're okay. And on this one was kind of chowdered out. I did get a UNF thread to go through it, but it was very seriously compromised, so I've kind of ground a little bit of the face on that side to create a face, and I've wound a bolt in from this side and tightened it up, so that is effectively a stud, but the bolt hopefully is captive, if you like. Hopefully the bolt will stay in place, so this nut will go on and off, no problem. And I'll ask Dean if he'll get some brass manifold nuts, UNF. We'll use brass ones, they'll be better. Haven't done anything with this head yet. This was the second one to come off, and I think this was a cylinder that had water in it. Okay, there's all the valves and things there, look, for the first head, 1 to 8, and those are the 2 valves that are cleaned up, and they look okay to be honest. And all these need cleaning up as well. I might just give those valves a run on the wire wheel before I pack in for the night. Okay, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, there's the head. I've cleaned it a little bit. I'll give it a little bit more of a clean in a bit. I took this off earlier. The cover that was there, that shows you the water pump in there, look. That's driven by a jack shaft, as is the distributor and the oil pump. So I'm going to get a vacuum cleaner, clean all this. I'll probably take that off so it can be flushed out. And I'll show you the casting. Let's all that crap in there. I'll go and get this cleaned up now on the wire wheel. This all build up down there as well. I'll go and get this all cleaned up. I'll probably take that off to clean that fit in there as well, and clean down there. That looks like it's blocked. So I'll get this all cleaned up and get all that cleaned up and vacuum it all off. this will be the start of getting things back together. Okay. Dean, the owner, has got a shopping list which, you know, he's going to order some parts. So hopefully when they come in, which will be in a few days, we can start getting things back together. In the meantime, I can get the heads cleaned, all the valves reassembled and the gaps checked. Hopefully they'll all be within spec. That's the valve that was sticking. It's moving quite freely now. I've worked it up and down a few times and it's nice and free now. I'm hoping that this corrosion isn't going to be a problem. So that's that head that can start going back together when I've done a bit more cleaning. All the valves look okay. The other head, I've still got to, you know, get the valves out of that one, but I thought I'd deal with them one at a time. The other thing I did was to tap that bolt position there. I don't know if it was 3/8, but I've tapped it 3/8 now, and it seems to be alright. I've put a bolt in there that we can use. Probably needs shortening, but there is a bolt. Okay, righto. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. I've done a bit of cleaning. I've cleaned all the top there. Probably needs doing again. I've cleaned the deck faces. I've cleaned the piston that's at the top there. I've cleaned the rust that was there. At least had a go at cleaning it. And the rust that was at the top of that one. What I'm going to do now, I'll put some oil down the bores, and I believe that if you can get on that crank bolt down there, there's a crank bolt, can't get the camera in at the angle, there's a crank bolt down there somewhere. I want to see if I can turn the engine over. I was told that this radiator is thicker than standard, so that makes it more of a tight fit down there. Yeah, there's a bit of rust on this bore, this one here. I cleaned it off from near the top, but it was a bit rusty a bit further down. There's a bit of rust there as well, I'll show you. This one has some rust there. Look, I need to clean that. All round. The others are okay. Well, I'll inspect them all as they get to the bottom. I'll just get a razor blade and scrape that. Sometimes you can scrape them with a razor blade. Hang on. If you put the blade flat against the cylinder like that, you can sometimes kind of go around and just get the worst of it. As long as it's built up on the surface rather than dug into the surface, you know, it'll be alright. So it's hard to film it and show it, but you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going around with a razor blade, nice and easy like that. I've turned it over a bit more, and I could see quite a bit of surface rust just here. This was the cylinder that had the washer in it, and this was a cylinder that was left without a spark plug in it for a while. I don't know how long, but you know, there was a bit of surface rust just in the cylinder. So I've just gone round with my scraper, and that rust that you can see there is what I've just scraped off the cylinder wall. The upper side, it looks okay. That side looks, well, I'll say okay. I will give it a little rub over, maybe with a bit of wire wool, go around with some wire wool, but I'll just vacuum that out now. This is number 1 cylinder. 1, 3, 5, 7 and 2, 4, 6, 8. And you do the timing off that cylinder there, number 2, on that side there, that one. And you can see I've just gone past the timing mark by a slight little bit. So there's the timing marks, just gone slightly, very slightly past the big tooth there. So that is the position, I believe, at which you have to attach the cams. So yeah, we're getting there. Bit of cleaning, wiping, cleaning. Just trying to get everything a bit better. This still needs a bit of work. Okay, right. I'll carry on and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. I think this bracket might be a bit bent from taking the head off. Hello. I found an easy way of turning the engine over. I've hooked my loser switch up there to the solenoid, and I can just prod it and it'll turn. I don't want to go mad with it, but I just want to jog it over while I'm cleaning the pistons and the bores. So let's give it a try. I'll just keep wiping the bores, cleaning the pistons, and then you know, just cleaning it up gradually, and the rings will just bring the mess up to the top. That's my twisted theory anyway. Anyway, this works. I'm not going to cranky it, but I'll just use it to jog it, because I don't want these to slip off, you know what I mean? I don't want anything to go wrong here. Okay, I'll give these a wipe then and bring you back when there's more to show. Guess what? I'm an idiot. Quite buoyed up with my way of easy turning the engine over. I let it wind a little bit, and this chain popped off. Now I've put it back on. I undid this nut, put it back on the cam wheel, but I don't know if it's in alignment. I will have to put the head on and check the alignment. I've got this piston on top dead center, and it's very close there. It just needs to come around a tiny bit. So I need to check the alignment of this cam wheel. Now there is a danger, I understand there is a danger that the adjuster can pop out and then you won't be able to put the chain wheel on, but I hope I've recovered the situation. If I haven't, this whole front end will have to be dismantled, which I think you would have to agree would be a complete pain in the arse. But let's keep our fingers crossed. Anyway, it's all looking a lot happier. The bores are looking okay. The pistons are looking okay. It's all not looking too bad. There's a tiny mark on that piston there where the washer sat. I discussed it with Dean, and we said that we're not going to. We're just going to cross our fingers and hope that that's okay. Just to show, I have cleaned this up. It doesn't look too bad. I've washed it out, flushed it out, brushed it out. I might ask Dean if he wants to buy a new one of those. It's quite badly pitted, but it's not looking too bad. I need to get the gasket remnants off, and there's some sort of a setting that you have to set up when you put it on. So we need to take care of that, but it fits okay. We had a job getting it off, to be honest, because there was corrosion on that surface there, that machine surface, and in there. So I need to clean that a bit more, make sure everything's okie dokie, and put it together. UNF threads look a little bit unusual, that, isn't it? Fine threads, look. You normally expect coarse threads, don't you, into cast iron like that. Okay, anyway, that bit is cleaned up and ready to go back on when we get the new gaskets. Okay, Anyway, that's how it's sitting tonight. I'll have a break now and come back, bring you back when there's more to show. Thanks for joining me in the garage. Cheers then. Bye. Hello. Here we are, back at the Stag, would you believe? I did a little bit of investigation and I had a chat with Dean, and my suspicions are correct. This is now about a 1/4 inch lower, measured from there up to there. It's about a 1/4 inch lower than that one. So the timing chain tensioner on this side has deployed, and I think this bracket is bent, and I think that might have been bent, you know, due to having to jack the head off. So again, you must understand, never worked on one of these before. I'm kind of learning as I'm going. So what that means is that I need to take this timing chain cover off, and we've started. Dean helped me actually to get the radiator out, because you need to reach up underneath and here. So we got the radiator out, and I've taken the bolt off there because I believe I need to take the pulley off and get this off, and then that'll give me access to all the timing chain area. What I want to do is kind of dry fit the heads and make sure all the timing is correct for the cams. It's looking a lot happier now down the bores, and all the pistons, they're looking okay. Dean's ordered a ton of stuff, gaskets and all sorts of things, studs, nuts, bolts, head studs, exhaust studs. I'm hoping that the jack shaft hasn't slipped. I don't think it has, because I believe all the bottom end of the chains has stayed in place. This is the cylinder that everything is timed from. This is number 2 cylinder, and I believe that needs to be over here when it's on top dead center, and it isn't on top dead center. So yeah, let's so I'll get it on top dead center. You know, as I'm talking, I'm thinking, as soon as I take this cover off, I haven't got that, have I? But I have got that. I'll get that cover off. I'll get the cover off and get the timing thing retracted. Okay, back in a bit. Hello. Okay, I've got the cover loosened, and I've just started to pry it off. It's loose by the look of it. It was kind of stuck on the sump gasket. So what I did, I put a pry bar. It had come away at the top, but it didn't want to come away at the bottom. So I put a pry bar in halfway down there, and I put a pry bar in halfway down on that side. Then I put a bolt in the top and pulled the top in, and pulling the top in pushed the bottom out. So that's loose now, so I can just lift that off, hopefully. Okay, there we go. Let's hope the sump gasket is broke there. That's a pain, isn't it? I just don't want to change the sump gasket because, you know, I don't have to disturb the rest of it. A couple of little bits in there that I need to retrieve. Okay. So what does that mean? Okay, I'll put this down and have a look. Right. That's the jack shaft gear there. That's where the tensioner is. That's popped out and pulled this all down. So I need to see what I need to do to de-tension that. The engine is at top dead center. So this is the position in which you need to do all the cam timing. But I need to I think what you have to do actually is you do this one first, and I think this bracket's got bent. Let me see if I can see what you need to do to retract that. This is the one for this one, and this sits on a spacer. It's a bit more complicated than a flathead. I think I might need to have to take these tensioners off and work out how they work. So if I get those two out, that'll take that tensioner out, and then I can see what I need to do to retract it. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, I've been on a little voyage of discovery with this tensioner. It's all in the workshop manual, but you know, hey, I like to have a look and see how it works. When I unbolted this, first thing that happened was that fell down into the sump. Not right into the sump, but just on the shallow bit at the front. This is just a blind hole with an oil feed there, and this came out and that was like that. So I thought, oh blimey, okay, how are you supposed to put that together then? But I've sussed it out what you're supposed to do, and I'll show you. In the end of this piece is hex for an Allen key. There's the sort of ratchet mechanism there, the non-return ratchet mechanism, and there's a pin there. See the pin? So you sort of align those. Well, you get this on here, but in a way that you can push it. Align it with the pin, then turn it. Then you turn it till it goes click. It clicks in and stays in. Then you can put it in there. I think it goes that way up. And when you press it in, it releases and comes out. It should come all the way out. So I read the book last night, but I didn't understand what it meant, but I understand it now. And what it said was to make a little cardboard shim that goes around there to stop it pushing in far enough to release. But I've just had a look and I've just bent a piece of wire. So I'm going to put that around there like that. And that stops it pushing in and releasing. And what I'll do when I'm finished, I'll just grab that with a pair of pliers and pull it out. Well, I think I will. I've never done it before, so I'll try it. Here's like a backing piece that you put on that holds that piece in the right alignment. So that won't spring out. Oh, it has just sprung out. See, once it comes out, you can't push it back in. You can only let it come further out. So maybe you need something a little bit thicker than that then. I think it'll be alright, as long as I don't sort of try it too much. Okay, I think there's going to be a lot of noise now, so I'll leave it for now and I'll try and get this back in place. What I'll try and do is straighten this bracket and bring this up to the right height. Okay, back in a bit. Hello. I've temporarily refitted this right hand head. I've put the thing back on. It's only kind of, you know, just finger tight at the moment. My little spacers thing is still in place. As far as I can tell, the chain hasn't slipped a tooth. It hasn't gone slack enough to slip a tooth. and I've put the head on and I've aligned the cam to the mark, but the cam gear is miles off. Now that's probably because, don't forget, it did come off. I've kind of pulled the cam gear up. I don't know if it'll slip in, I doubt it, to be honest. It looks like it needs to go up a bit more. I need to kind of bend this bracket up. See, it's not centered in that opening, so I need to bend it up a bit. There's a head gasket in place, a used one. I wonder if I can get it to go around one tooth at a time. Probably not enough. Not enough slack. Okay. I probably need to detach this, allow the chain to go down a little bit, move it round a few teeth, and this one here, just try and get a bolt. Just try and get it so a bolt would go in. So I'm kind of teaching myself. There's probably Stag experts that are cringing at every turn. I'm just trying to retrieve the situation. The distributor appears to be pointing in the right direction, so that's not too bad. Yeah. Just a note of caution, when I put the head on, I didn't try and bolt it down, but it didn't want to sit flat. Then I realised it was because some of the valves are sticking below the deck. So you have to have the cam timed to the pistons, and it is now. I just rotated the cam, get to the right place, and now it sits down flush. So I need to do a little bit of jiggery pokery. I don't want to lose the time in between that and that. As with everything, because I'm not an expert, I'm kind of doing it from first principles. Okay, anyway, this isn't aligned. I need to align it. But with that adjuster slackened back, there's plenty of slack in the chain now. Right, I'll work on that and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. By fair means or foul, I now have this cam with one bolt started, so that is now timed. I've got the bracket pulled up and located well enough, and the cam gear goes on, and that's aligned. So this cam is now in time. I just wedged my hammer there so that there was no possibility of the chain jumping a tooth down there. That appears to be pointing in the right direction for number 2, I believe, which is better, the 11 o'clock position. Okay, so a little bit of disaster averted. I've got a good mind to, what I think I'm going to do is offer the other head on, and even though it's all stripped down, I'll put the other head on and do exactly the same, just to make sure that we've got it all right at this end. Then I can take this head off again. Obviously it'll just come off because it it hasn't been on for like 20 years. But I had to get back to ground zero. I went a tooth at a time. I teased the chain up. I pushed the gear down into kind of no man's land down there, and teased it a tooth at a time. Just tease the chain around, you move it around and it clicks back. So I was turning the gear like that in effect, until that bolt just started in there, nice and easy to spin in just with your fingers. So that's good. Okay, take that out. Right, so I will do the same with the other head. You can use studs like that, but you can't do it in the car. There ain't enough room with the exhaust manifolds on. I found some flathead studs and put them in there just to guide it on and hold the gasket. Ribby! Stop digging! She dug a great big hole there. She's naughty. She's just bored, isn't she? Hello, baby. Hello, baby. You're a good girl, ain't you? You're a good girl. You're daddy's girl. You're a good girl, aren't you? Beautiful dog. Beautiful dog. Bit naughty though. Okay, that'll do. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Okay, righto. Back in a bit then. Hello, I've dry fitted the right hand head. And this has just gone in. I had to push it a little bit, it went in, and that bolt's gone in. So I'd say the timing is okay on this side. Oh, I didn't realise it had a thingy bob. That's alright, because that side is the lead side, isn't it? Okay, righto. So there's the right hand head just placed back in place, just 3 bolts. The cam just dropped in, which is a bit tight actually, but yeah, it's okay. I think I might actually slacken the adjuster on this one just to make it easier for it to all to be assembled. Okay, righto. Let's call it good at that then. That has been an interesting little session. It's good to get a little bit of the basic groundwork in place. I'll have to do some reading up because the manual states to fit the left hand head, I think. Then you fit the manifold to the left hand head. And I think you have to kind of just leave everything just snug rather than tight. So you fit the manifold and then you fit this head finger tight, slide the gaskets in, fit the manifold, and then tighten everything. This isn't probably what the manual says, so don't believe me, but this is how I understand it. Basically you tighten, you know, keep going round in a sort of round robin of tightening, and so everything snugs down evenly. There's also an issue that isn't covered in the owner's manual, but is an issue because it happens, is that when people have the heads skimmed, the heads move down, so the bolts on the inlet manifold don't align, so you have to have the inlet manifold skimmed as well. And from memory, I think you have to have half of the amount of the skim taken off. You'd have to do a little bit of geometric checking with that, but I seem to remember that from years ago when we had a Ford FE and had the head skimmed. But that was a long time ago and it might be something else. Okay, righto. So we kind of got a sound basis now to start putting things together. I'll assemble this head and put it on one side, then I'll strip and reassemble that head, and then we can wait for the gaskets to come in and then start to reassemble. Okay, righto, thank you very much for following along then. Take care and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye.